Y'all, thank you for coming out. We just left Aiken, and from Aiken, Edgefield, all the way up here, Pickens, Oconee, all the way over to Cherokee, we've really suffered a blow. As you may be surprised to know that those who chart the likely path of hurricanes and storms, we have local people, but also out in Colorado. The University of Colorado is where most people rely on, but on this particular storm, like others, sometimes they don't go exactly where the predictors say they're going to go. And this was one. We've had others that have been coming at us that have veered off, and we've had some that have been going away from us and come towards us. And this was one that came closer than we had been expecting, based on the predictions that have been made all over the country for where these storms go. But we knew it was coming, and we had our troops ready, but it has caused a lot of damage, as you know. But I want to tell you that we're very sad that we've had 25 deaths that we know of so far that have been a result of the storm. Some people were in the houses and had trees fall on them. Others in vehicles had trees fall on them. 2 volunteers in a fire truck had a tree fall on them. 2 others in a golf cart looking at the other houses, inspecting, had a tree fall on them. We've had 1 at least who had a generator inside the house or too close to the house. There have been a number of things like that. So we want to urge everyone just to be careful. We don't need any more tragedies. That's enough. And we do ask you to keep those families and loved ones in your prayers. We have an army of men and women highly trained that are out reacting to this storm, this devastating storm. And they were positioned in advance when it was coming. That's how we always do it. And you always position for the worst case scenario. In this particular case, the upstate has likely not seen anything quite like this, if ever. I know we've had ice storms here and we've had parts of hurricanes, but for something like this, with all this wind, which was very high, and down on the coast and even around North Augusta, they reached hurricane, I think it was level 1, category 1 hurricane, which I think 72 miles an hour. They're in excess of that. But the amount of rain coming on the rain that had been falling for several days before this softened the soil, of course, and resulted in a lot of trees going down. And when the trees go down, what do they fall on? One thing they fall on is power lines. And what does that mean? That means you have to get the trees off the power lines, but before the crews can go in, and we've got thousands of people working on this, before they can go in and move the debris and the trees and the limbs off of the power line, they got to be sure that the power is turned off. Otherwise, we'll have a lot more deaths, a lot more tragedies. And so we want to urge everyone that this is one that's going to take some patience, because in order to get to the trees and debris to remove them off the power lines, you first have to be able to get there, and often you have to cut your way through trees, through debris, through limbs in order to get to the ones that are on the power lines. That takes time and it can't be rushed. So that's where we have a choke point here. And that's what it is, and that's why we're going to have some patience. But I want to assure you the National Guard has been deployed. They were positioned in the beginning. The power companies had their people deployed, thousands of them deployed and ready to go. And I've directed the National Guard today to get others deployed who are available that are not already overseas or somehow ineligible, but put them to work as well to beef that up and get as many as we can out there working. And also have asked the State Guard to participate as well. As you know, they have engineers, they have a lot of people that can do a lot of help. The Department of Transportation always has their resources deployed, positioned, and to wait and be ready when the time came. And it has come, and they are clearing the highways, starting with the interstates, of course, and then working on down as far as they can go. But we have thousands of people that are working together to see that this is done, an army, but we're going to have patience. This is one that's going to take patience, but slowly but surely we're getting the power back on. we started off, as you know, we have about 3 million meters, that is power customers in the state, about 3 million. The storm knocked out 1.3 of those. The day after the storm, we had 1.2. Today, we have 904,000 outages right now, probably less than that. That was this morning, less than that. So out of a 3 million total, we're less than 900,000. So that's progress, but it's going to be slow. So we ask everyone to be sure and be patient, and do not go out for the first time in your life with a new chainsaw and try to cut a tree. Now this is not the time to be doing that. We have people that are here that are doing that. Others are coming. Of course, you know, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, all that they got bad weather, bad damage there as well. So ordinarily we may have some coming from those states. Well, they're not available this time, nor we have any we can send there. We do have some people coming from California. They didn't have this, so they're on their way. So this is a great team effort, and I assure you it's going to be done. But this is one that is going to take a lot of patience. We got the team, we have the equipment. The federal government is helping us well. They're embedded with us, and there's no asset out there that we have not already accessed. And also the National Guard is going to supplement the work being done by the State Law Enforcement Division, who's working with all the sheriffs and all the police. It really is a mighty and highly unified and experienced and sophisticated force that we have working, but it's just going to take time. Main thing, be safe, don't do anything you're going to regret, and just hold tight, and it's slowly but surely we're coming back online. So things are going to get better, they're not going to get worse. I'd like to ask now for Secretary Justin Powell, Department of Transportation.
Thank you, Governor. I'm Justin Powell, Secretary of Transportation for South Carolina. The South Carolina Department of Transportation continues round-the-clock operations in response to Hurricane Helene and to restore mobility for western South Carolina. We've moved more people, more equipment from areas less affected by this storm into the affected areas. Many of our crews left their homes and their families to work round the clock to get South Carolina back moving again. Please be patient, slow down when you see our crews working. We want to get everybody home safely. Our primary focus is a major operation to restore mobility of our roadways from the trees and the other debris that are in the roads. Thousands of trees were brought down by this storm. And while we are making progress, our biggest challenge remains is the sheer number of trees that came down and remain entangled in power lines, which require us to wait for the utility to resolve. We are committed to getting South Carolina moving. The interstates were completely cleared yesterday, and we are now focusing on our primary routes like US 29, which carry half of the state's traffic. As we restore primary routes in many of our counties, SCDOTs are turning to our secondary routes, which are often neighborhood streets. We will continue to work closely with our utility partners as well as local agencies to restore the full network. We're getting trees out of the roads quickly. As you travel, you may notice piles of trees and debris on the roadside. As soon as we get roads open, we will be turning our attention to removing those trees from the roadway, which will be a long and expensive process for the state to move forward with the amount of trees that are on the ground. I encourage residents to check out our road closure map at scdot.org. You can find that under the travel tab. We also have our call center working extended hours right now at 1-855-GO-SCDOT. The storm brought serious impacts to South Carolina. It is going to take time to recover, but we're in this together. We will not stop working until this job is done. Thank you, Governor.
Chief Keel.
Good afternoon. Mark Keel, Chief of SLED. Just want to let everybody know that from the time this storm event took place, we've been in constant communication with our chiefs and sheriffs all over the state, but especially here in the northwestern part of the state where we've had so much devastation, and in our Midlands area as well. We continue to provide whatever support agencies are asking for. And as the governor said earlier, He directed earlier today that we get with Major General McCarty, with the Guard, talk to them, and whatever additional law enforcement assistance we need that we can't provide from the state law enforcement side, we will ask the Guard to support us as well. All of our state law enforcement agencies, DNR, Triple P, South Carolina Highway Patrol, and of course our agents are out in force and working. We will continue to work. We will continue to provide public safety in our communities. One thing in all these events, we're not going to tolerate any lawlessness in our communities. We're not going to allow people to take advantage of our communities because of the situation we're in now. And again, we're going to be with you here in the upstate until we get everybody back to normal. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Callahan. Dude.
Good afternoon. Mike Callahan, South Carolina President for Duke Energy. I want to thank you, Governor McMaster, for your leadership and the leadership of all of our elected officials here as we navigate the aftermath of this unprecedented storm. The damage to Duke Energy's infrastructure in the upstate from Helene is historic. The storm brought down trees in nearly every yard and on many homes in Greenville and across the region. Trying to clear paths to the damaged equipment is a challenge. We are thankful for county and municipal partners who have taken a leading role in this effort. Duke Energy is assessing and repairing significant damage to this infrastructure. The poles and wires that make up our transmission system have experienced unprecedented damage. This infrastructure must be repaired before service can be restored to neighborhoods and businesses. The company had significant resources in the city and on our system before the storm hit, and we've added many more since. We have nearly 6,000 skilled line workers and support personnel on the ground now, and more continue to arrive to support this recovery operation. Many of these workers live right here in the upstate, and their families also have no power at home, and they are working tirelessly to restore power to your home and your businesses. On that front, earlier today, we began sharing that we expect to have power restored to the vast majority of our customers no later than Friday evening, and with the exception of areas that are inaccessible or unable to take service. That doesn't mean your power will be out until Friday. It means the very last customer we can restore might be out by Friday, but we will see many more customers come online well before that. And as our crews assess the situation for specific outages, we'll provide continued updates on estimated times of restoration. You can view this information on our website at duke-energy.com/outage map. The work we are doing and will continue to do until every last customer has power takes time, and you've heard that here. Patience is something that we ask of you. Many who call the upstate home have never experienced a storm like this. It is historic and will require historic efforts from all of us to find our way back to normal. And Duke Energy appreciates the patience of our customers, the cooperation and assistance of state agencies, counties, cities, and communities, and the efforts of the leaders of this region who are helping us through this historic and significant recovery operation. Thank you, Governor.
Senator Graham.
Thank you. I travel a good bit in this job, and I've seen devastation created by war. This is right up there with it. Mother Nature bombed us pretty hard. From Hilton Head to Charlotte, everything west of that got hit really hard. I've been driving around Greenville today. It's a hit and miss deal. Some neighborhoods really devastated, others not so much. I just want to echo what was said. If you're a law enforcement officer in this area, your family was hit too. If you're out there trying to repair the lines, your power's out also. So please be patient. I talked to FEMA today. There's still water rising. Water goes downhill. Stuff from North Carolina hadn't gotten here yet. If you live near a creek or a river, watch it. Water's still coming. From the federal point of view, I'm pleased with what I see. FEMA's been very involved. I told the governor and all his team, count us in to help. If you need more active duty troops, some active duty troops, let me know. The Guard is really out there in full force. I've never quite seen anything like this in my time. I've lived here all my life. And this is either going to bring out the best of us or the worst of us. So please be patient.
I'm going to echo what everyone else has said. This was not a normal storm. We've all experienced cold snaps. We've experienced, wind storms. This is not that. This is going to take time to get our power back online. And the further you are away from the airport, a hospital, from an urban area, it's going to take longer. So be patient, be prepared, take care of your neighbors, and be safe. Like the governor said, if you don't operate a chainsaw on a regular basis, be very careful. Maybe leave that to the professionals. But hunker down, stay off the roads if you can, and be safe. Your power should be back on by the end of the week. But again, we've got to take care of our neighbors, and we'll get through this together. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Governor. You used the word teamwork a minute ago, and that's really been the watchword from the beginning. I want to acknowledge that the governor called the day of the event. I think the wind was still blowing, Governor, and the water was still coming when you called, just to let us know that a great armada of team from the state of South Carolina was going to be standing behind us when things settled down a bit. And here you are today. So thank you for being here in Greenville. But it has been a team effort. I want to do a particular acknowledgement of first responders for Greenville. We have the sheriff here and the police chief of Greenville. The first responders have been putting in great time. And as the senator and others mentioned, many of them have families and lives beyond this, and their own homes endangered. They've been out there, along with our public works department and other city staff. So it's been truly a teamwork effort. And the other thing to know is that, as the senator mentioned about this, would be the best of us or the worst of us. By and large, Senator, has been the best of us. For every impatient person on social media, and for every person who's not so good at the intersections, we've had far more people understanding the situation, helping neighbors on a neighborhood level. When those trees have fallen on people's houses, people have gotten in there and helped move those trees even before the city staff got there. So for the most part, people have really risen to the occasion. That's what I expect of people in Greenville and people in South Carolina. But we thank everyone here today for this wonderful team effort to get us through what we're facing now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. One more thing. These electrical wires are under tension. And if they're held down by a tree limb, and you go and you cut that limb, that might pop right back up on you. So it is dangerous. If there's a wire anywhere near any kind of debris or trees or tree limbs, stay away from it until the professionals get there. Anyone from local would like to have a word? We have people here. If you have questions, we're ready for them.
Two questions. First one, there's been a lot of concerns that there are resources sent out of the state to possibly Florida in preparation of this hurricane.
I don't know.
Is there any truth to that?
I don't know how that got started, but no, there's no truth to that.
Not even from Duke Energy. No resources were sent out of the state. No. Okay. A lot of people have brought that up to us.
That's why it's important to get your information from official sources. Sometimes there are misunderstandings.
Secondly, for the Guard, why wait until today to activate it?
Oh, no, they've been activated. They were activated before the storm hit. They were activated, positioned, prepared, and ready to go. But now that we're getting to this point where we are going to be able to go in and do more work, we've asked the rest to be deployed, as well as the State Guard.
Will people in Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, will they see Guard members in their communities?
They will, and you can see law enforcement as well. But the main thing you can see are people cutting limbs. There could be literally thousands of people, men and women, on tractors and other lifts, cutting limbs and removing debris. But what they'll do at first is just move it to the side of the road, or the side of the street, and get it open. And then they'll come back later and remove it. That's going to take a lot of time as well.
I know it's so early in the recovery process, but so many leaders have come up and said this is unprecedented. Has there already been a lesson learned for possibly next time?
I think we learn a little bit more about nature every time nature comes at us like this. But the experience that we've had in South Carolina with hurricanes, ice storms, everything in between, I think we're as experienced as anyone can be. But you cannot stop nature. There's going to be damage, no matter how well prepared, no matter what you have ready. That damage is going to occur. What we try to do is save lives, save as much property and much unnecessary loss as we can.
One thing I've learned, the more lines underground, the better. When this is over, we're going to sit down and talk about how to bury as many lines as we can responsibly to save a lot of not only lives, but money.
And also there may be some business establishments, maybe filling stations, convenience stores that may want to have their own generators hooked up. They've done that in Florida. I think they require it by the code, building code.
That was kind of my one final question. I apologize, but a lot of people, long lines at gas stations, grocery stores, they're concerned. A lot of people are not even able to get milk, other essentials. What resources are coming in when it comes to grocery stores and gas stations?
Well, we're trying to get those are the types of things where that people need those sort of things to operate. They go in there first. There may be some of the residences that'll have to wait in favor of those sorts of businesses that are essential to people working. But there are a lot of organizations, including the Red Cross, there are a lot of local organizations that are providing food, providing all those kind of things. And if you inquire locally, you can find out where they are, and that'll take a lot of the pressure off.
Governor, what do you know right now about whether gas supplies specifically are strained, or there's any issue with limited gas supply?
We do not believe the gas supplies are strained, but getting it out of the tanks at the stations, at the convenience stores, that's where it's strained, because we can't pump it up. Electricity's out, it pumps up.
So do you know if we have any gas hubs that still need to have power restored at this point?
No, I think Belton and Spartanburg are up. I'm not sure the third.
I can
North
confirm
Augusta.
they're all up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ask another.
And as for the Midlands region specifically, the Congaree River is expected to reach major flood stage tonight. What is the message for folks in that area?
The same for any rivers. A lot of them have reached flood stage and are receding. I think probably more are receding now than are going up, but you have to be careful. We've seen this before with these rivers, particularly back in 2015. That was when the dams were breaking. You remember that. And then in 2017 and 18, we saw high water again. So again, we experienced people just need to listen to the official sources, take the information from the official sources, and there are plenty of them, and be very careful.
And what's the latest on that federal disaster relief? I know you had that expedited request yesterday.
I don't believe we have received the answer, but it's coming. We have a federal FEMA representative embedded with us at the Emergency Management Division, been with us since this began.
And there were many people expressing frustrations, essentially saying that it may have been imprudent to have the Clemson game yesterday, diverting some of those resources that could have gone to storm response. What do you say to that?
I will let the Clemson representatives answer that question.
Any more questions? Pretty good? One more. Last one right here.
Can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Have you ever experienced a natural disaster of this magnitude in your career?
Yes, I go back to Hurricane Hazel. So the answer is yes. And then I guess the next big one was Hugo. And they've been in that flood of 2015, of course, knocked out a lot of things in the Midlands. That was unprecedented, but all of them are disasters. That's why we call them that. There's always a loss of life, a loss of property. And so the best we can do is to be very careful and look out for our neighbors and be prepared. But another thing this has taught us, and I think our congressional representatives especially will echo this, is that our entire system, our system of economy, education, transportation, everything is fragile.
Amen.
And an enemy, we have enemies other than Mother Nature. We love Mother Nature. Mother Nature sometimes is rough on us. But we have enemies around the world that would like to do the same thing times 10 to this country. So that's why we have to be sure that we know how to respond, and we need to think way ahead.
And do you have a message for any of the families that have lost members?
I know the entire state and people around the country offer their condolences. They're grieving right along with the families. It is tragic that we lose people. But I know we may lose some more that we haven't heard about yet. I know we'll lose some more in the next major disaster like this. We just have to be careful and stick together, take care of each other.
Pretty good? Thank you.